You won't believe it, everybody, but I'm addressing you from the middle of East Africa, here in the Mara Triangle, a quite astonishingly beautiful piece of ground, 510 square kilometers, 350 square miles of utterly magnificent Africa, and I'm going to show you. Firstly, I must introduce the team though. Mr. Graham Wallington on camera today, and in the background, tied in by thousands and thousands of different wires and aerials and various other things, is Peter Bratt. Now, come and have a look here. Come on, Graham. Now, we're just going to put the camera on a tripod. It's going to get a little bit bumpy. There we are. And now, what you are doing, where you are looking, is straight across the Mara River, everybody, into the Mara National Park. We're in the Mara Triangle, and that is a very small portion of 1.5 million wildebeest that come into this area on a yearly basis, arriving in late July and departing somewhere around October, heading down back south into Tanzania. And it is across this very river that we're looking, the Great Mara River, that those iconic pictures and films have been taken of these great herds of wildebeest migrating to and fro across the river. Now, they don't all make it, of course, as Graham is about to show you. One of them has unfortunately met its end. It's over there. No, that's a crocodile, yes. There we are, well done. That one there is a wildebeest that is not in fact swimming, it has in fact died. And it will shortly be eaten, I've no doubt, by that very large reptilian. That crocodile is probably 10 feet long. It's absolutely enormous. And it probably only needs to eat once every 2 years or so. Hello, Jen Ward. You say this is fantastic. This is absolutely unbelievable. I am sore amazed that we're able to be here. It is very, very special indeed. There we are. We're just zooming there onto that enormous crocodile. Now, James Cole, you ask a very valid question as we pan across to some hippopotami, a pod thereof, sitting here in this incredible river. You say you wonder if Gnorman the enormous gnu is here from Cheetah Plains. He is not, believe it or not, and that is because he is a different subspecies of the blue wildebeest, the one that we've been looking at there, that small herd of the greater population of 1.5 million. They are called the brindled gnu, and although they are the same species, the difference is that they have got a very white beard, whereas Norman, the no-mates gnu of Cheetah Plains, has got a black beard. And that's how you know the difference. Obviously the zebra are there. They are the same kind of zebra. They're Birchall zebra. And then we've got one other quite special animal here that we don't see any of in the Kruger Park or anywhere near those environs, and it's called a Thompson's gazelle. And it is quite similar to, well, there are a few across there. We're just going to see if we can find one for you. You got them? They're very similar to our national animal, well, the South African national animal. Look at him, there he is. He's a magnificent fellow. And he is similar, like I say, to a springbok, which is our national animal. Also doesn't occur in the Kruger National Park, but they occur in great numbers here. So let me just give you some of the scale of what's going on here. We have got a situation where there are 1.5 million wildebeest, plus minus, 300 or so thousand Birchall zebra, about 200,000 of those Thompson's gazelles, and most of them right now as we speak are on a piece of land that is smaller than the Sabi Sands. Now I think that's absolutely incredible. Sabi Sands about 600 square kilometers, this area 510 square kilometers. They do obviously spread a long way then across the river where these ones are, into the Mara, and the entire area, the whole Mara Serengeti ecosystem, is about 20,000, am I correct there? Yes, 20,000 square kilometers, which is just slightly smaller than the Kruger National Park. So, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. And Christine, you say, is this live? Well, I'm talking to you, Christine. It is as live as you and I, and it's wonderful to have you with us. We have not recorded anything today. Well, we recorded a few things for some B-roll. We had an amazing experience just probably about, what about 12 o'clock your time. We watched some wildebeests swimming across the river. We wondered if they would be devoured by the death in the deep, these enormous crocodiles, but they were not. And we watched them for about half an hour. Two big herds of wildebeest crossing the river in a different place from here. And we came here because we rather hoped this herd would come across at some stage during the afternoon. They might do that, but at the moment they haven't. Oh, there's a marabou stork.
No chance.
No chance. It's coming down. There, you'll get it. No, not yet. There, you might get it now. Hello, Aqua. I'm afraid I missed your question. I'm going to ask for it again. Oh, are we in a covered vehicle? Aqua, we are in a covered vehicle. We have to be. That's the law in these parts. And you learn to tangle with the law, as you know, Aqua. And you say, what's the temperature? I'd put it at a fairly pleasant 28 degrees Celsius or so, which is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the temperature here. Of course, we are not far from the equator. We're just south of it, which means there really is hardly a season in this area. We're quite high up, which also means that the temperature's pretty, I mean, it gets hot, but it doesn't get blistering, I don't think, too often. Look at that river. Isn't that amazing? Hello, Gracie. It's very nice to hear from you. I'm all the way in East Africa, in Kenya, a beautiful, beautiful country. And you say, how fun is this? It is such fun, isn't it? And we're looking at hippos, your favorite animal. We're looking at crocodiles. We're looking at dead wildebeest, but mostly we're looking at an incredible abundance of life, the likes of which I have never seen before. I've never been here before, everybody, and I'm just utterly astounded. We've been driving around this reserve since early this morning, and there has not been one stage where we have not been seeing animals or vistas as far as the eye can see. And where Graham's pointing now, if he just pans slightly upwards, what you'll see is an escarpment there on the Rift Valley. And that is miles and miles away, and between here and there are these unbelievable clearings. Just incredible spaces with masses and masses of the most fertile grasslands you can imagine that support this unbelievable abundance of animals. And it really is a true privilege and honor to be here, A, and B, what a joy to bring it all to you during the course of our standard issue safari. Isn't that amazing? And Safari Haze, you say, can anyone just drive through here? Yes, they can, actually, believe it or not. Anyone can drive through here. Sometimes you can have a guide, sometimes if you've got the right kind of car, you can bring it in here, and that's no problem. But a lot of the places here run a little bit like the ones in South Africa do, where there are lodges in various pretty places, and then they've got guides, and you drive down with the guide. But you can come in here entirely on your own. There are wonderful campsites here, and so it really does allow quite a lot of freedom. We don't really drive off-road here much, but sometimes you can get permission to do that. Now, kitty, kitty, bang, bang. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about the drought in South Africa, and you want to know if there's a drought here. Well, we were chatting to the warden today, a man of some 20 years experience in this area, and he says this is a dry year, probably the driest for the last few seasons, but I don't think they're in anything like the drought that we are there back at Djuma. So, yes, the river's probably slightly lower, but no, there's no real trouble as far as the lack of water goes. There are just hectares and acres and acres and acres of this amazing grassland that is abundant with life. Animals are able to eat at will. We've seen hyenas today, we've seen serval today, we've seen buffalo, giraffe and elephant, Thompson's gazelles and Birchall's zebras and these wonderful brindled gnu, hippos. We even saw elephants, believe it or not. So it really has been an amazingly abundant time for us. Hello, Aaron in New Zealand. You hope we see some new birds? Well, Peter Bart and I have been fascinatedly staring out of the window trying to find a few new birds. The highlight probably being something called a purple grenadier, believe it or not, which I'm not going to try and show you because I don't have a book here. I've got an app, but I think it'll reflect the sun. Now, we're not able to actually move while we're filming because that will result in everybody watching getting seasick. So we will just pan from side to side until you get tired of looking at this particular view, and then we might go and see what else we can find. I'd like to show you some topee. They're an antelope we don't get up there. We do get some Sabi sometimes in the Kruger, and they're a similar species. I'd like to show you a bit more of the Thompson's gazelles. We might go back to a hyena den that we found a little bit earlier on, and perhaps a Maasai giraffe. We talk so often on the show there about the different kinds of giraffe that we get. There's 7 or 9, depending on who you listen to, subspecies of the giraffe. Well, there's a totally different subspecies up here called the Maasai giraffe, and that's just brilliant. We'll try and find you one of those too. Ooh. Just quickly, there's a... Oh, you're not going to be able to do that. No, never mind, everybody. Let me just going to pan around everybody, and what we're going to do is show you something familiar as it disappears. Oh no, there's another one anyway. There was there, everybody, a helmeted guinea fowl. Alright, let's have one more look there at the wildebeest. And we're going to head off now and see what else we can find. And who are we going to hand them back to, Kirsten? And there, everybody, is the helmeted guinea fowl. A spectacular species found much of the way through Africa. That is not why we're here, of course. There are the wildebeest, and they're now thinking again of coming across the river. They've been milling around here. A few of them have headed off to the left. They've turned around. They've made a few bleating sounds. They've turned back. And now it looks as if they might approach the river again. Now, I'm inexperienced in these things. I don't know if they're going to cross the river or not. Mr. Wallington on camera today says, well, when you have wildebeest at a river, a crocodile and a dead wildebeest, you can be sure that something is about to happen. Ergo, we are still here, we have not moved. Now, while we wait to see these indecisive animals and whether they will or will not decide to have a swim on this very warm and pleasant afternoon here in Kenya, yes, that's what I said, Kenya, in the Mara Triangle, I would like to send out a very special shout-out to Joanne McCulloch. That comes from everyone at Wild Earth, who sent through a very kind message today about the joy that Wild Earth gives her. She's having a bit of a tough time health-wise at the moment, and so we wish you all the very best, Joanne, and we hope that this unbelievable scene, an ancient landscape and an ancient dance that has been taking place for goodness knows how many millennia, we hope it gives you some joy and strength as you forge ahead with your difficulties. So good luck. Now, you can see they're getting a little bit sort of, kind of uneasy. Well, Miss Lynn, you want to know what I'm smelling. You're in North Carolina. Well, my proximity to the cameraman, Graham Wallington, means that that's largely what I'm smelling, and it has been a long day in the car. I am talking rubbish, Miss Lynn. It smells, you know what, it smells kind of, I don't mean this in a bad way, it smells a bit cleaner, I suppose. The air smells a little bit fresher than perhaps, oh, here comes some zebra, everybody, they're coming down to the water now. It's unfamiliar in many ways, Miss Lynn, so it's difficult to describe, but there is that dust in the air. We had a very windy night last night, and very little in the way. I went for a walk this early morning and watched the sunrise on the side of the mountain, on the side of that great escarpment I showed you, the edge of the Rift Valley, if you can believe it, and there was a very nice sort of flowery smell, because up there it's in amongst the trees, it's quite well sort of thicketed, the kind of place that Kruger and her ilk would like to live. Now, let's see what these zebra do. Now, we've watched a few zebra come down to drink, and they have just drunk. They haven't crossed. I haven't seen a zebra take a bath today yet. But here we now have some movement from the rest of the herd. Everyone, they're moving down towards the water. And as I say that, you know what else I can smell, Miss Lynn, is the smell of this river. And I wouldn't describe it as a smell of pristine spring water, but it is a smell of an African river. There's a lot of silt in it, and it's sort of dark and ominous under the surface, but it is life-giving, because all of the animals here must drink water. There are no artificial water points like there are in the Sabi sand, for example. So all of these animals must come and drink from the perennial Mara River. Let me just say that again. We are sitting, broadcasting live from the banks of the Mara River. Isn't that amazing? Hello Robin, you want to know about those zebra and whether they have a shadow stripe. The further north you go from sunny, gorgeous South Africa, the less that shadow stripe is in evidence. So these ones have got virtually no shadow stripe. You'll see one or two who've got a fairly clear shadow stripe, but you'll see just as many that don't have any. The other thing I've noticed about these zebra while we've been here, and while we look, ooh, it looks like this herd might come down to drink now, or indeed take the plunge. The other thing is that many of the zebra here seem to have fairly Roman noses. They've got a very distinctive kind of roundedness about them. Here we go. Oh, they're right at the edge now. Now, when we got down here, a few of them were where they are now, but there wasn't this great groundswell of support. We had a question during our Facebook Live time earlier today about whether or not there is a leader in the herd, and there is not. And that is why there is this indecision. This, everybody, is democracy at work. Everybody has their say, and eventually everyone will decide what to do. There will be a consensus, and one will take the first plunge, and then the rest will follow. And then we'll see what happens. Will a great ancient reptile leap from the deep and grab one? Will they make it across so that they may eat the grass that is, to my mind, in the same greenness as it is on that side? Here we go, here we go. Oh, 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 oh. Nearly there. You see, 2 or 3 nearly went. Ah, Steve, you want to know what the beautiful tree in the distance is. Steve, I have to say, ashamedly, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is a boskia tree, which means it's a member of the shepherd's bush family. I climbed one earlier today, obviously, and I sat there just before lunch, and I think that's what it is. It's a stunning tree, isn't it? The way the light is catching it is just too beautiful. Now, the indecision, I'm afraid, of the wildebeest has meant that they have now decided to turn around again. What you can't see here, everyone, is that there is a crocodile, a very large one, same size as this behemoth this side. There's a very large one sitting the other side of the bank, exactly opposite to where those wildebeest were standing and thinking about crossing. And I think they're a little bit nervous of being eaten by him. Now, while we wait and see, I want to show you something else that we haven't seen, or that we don't see there at Djuma. Let's just see if I can spot it again. A, and then B, if I can point it out to Graham. It's moved. I'm just scanning the plains with my binoculars. But no, it was an olive baboon. So there's a baboon species here called the olive baboon. Looks very similar to our Chakma baboon. But it's got, the males have got a rather more impressive sort of, I called it a mane earlier, but Peter Bratt told me I was talking nonsense, so, but I'm going to call it a mane for lack of a better term. It's not quite a mane. It's like a sort of enlarged beard, if you like. Now you can see one of them has lain down. He's got very tired with the democracy that's going on here. He thinks it's rather ridiculous. Hello, Tucker. You're just 4 years old. Hello, is this your first trip to Kenya? It's my first trip to Kenya, and I hope you're having a good time here in Kenya with me. You say, are they going to take a swim? Well, yes and no, You know, they're not going to swim just because they want to swim, because it's hot, or, you know, to play in the water like you might. They're going to jump into the water, and then they're going to try and come to the other side. But that's very dangerous, because there are crocodiles in the water. And, you know, we've seen 2 or 3 on the banks, but many of them will hide under the water, and it's almost impossible to see them. And that's why they're so scared. You can see them coming close to the water, then they stop and they go back again, they come close to the water, and so they don't really know what to do. And some of them are getting a bit tired, and they're lying down over there while they wait for perhaps the older ones or the more experienced ones to decide whether they should go across or not. And there are lots and lots of people around here, everybody, I must say. Hello, Anna Marie. I'm just going to ask Graham to let go of the camera, just in case he gets a shudder of tears as I tell him what you have said. You've said that Graham Wallington makes dreams come true. Well, that is rather true, isn't it? I've never been here before, and it's an absolute dream come true to be standing right here watching these unbelievable scenes unfolding in front of us, and hopefully they will become slightly more unbelievable as the wildebeest decide whether or not to cross. There's a bit of a breeze blowing in there. The direction we're looking at now, everyone, is north. Ooh, there's a bit of movement here. I think he's going to roll. No, he's just doing a 20-meter circle as per a seemingly invisible dressage test set him by one of his friends. I can now hear them bleating. No, 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 no. There's an air of expectation now, there really is. So you're looking out to the north there pretty much, everyone, and you may see that the sky seems to be turning slightly greyer. I wonder I have no idea what the weather's going to do here. Now, Mimi, 15 years old, you ask a very good question about an animal that could possibly be more than 100 years old. And you want to know, the crocodile gets hungry, or will it kill again if it isn't hungry, if it's eaten? The answer is no, Mimi, it won't. Crocodiles can sometimes go for 2 years without food, believe it or not. So if they eat a wildebeest, then they don't need to eat for a long, long time. And the fact that there is a dead wildebeest next to us that nothing is eating tells me that I think this is probably quite a good time for those wildebeest to pop across here. And we're just that zebra thinking about perhaps having a bit of a drink. Hello, Kirsten from Denmark, as opposed to the final control. You want to know, can we get across the river, or do we go across the river? You can. There are a few crossing points, but it's a different kind of park there, so you've got to sort of pay an entry fee to go in there, which is perfectly normal. And because we have 350 square miles or 510 square kilometers of land here, there's no need for us to go across the river. I'm just pointing out what looks to be another familiar friend from Djuma. It looks like a yellow-eyed canary. Oh no, it doesn't. That looks like a zebra, doesn't it?
Yes,
The canary is just in this bushel over here. There it is, you've got him middle frame. Up a bit. There we go. Keep going. Up a bit. That's him. Yeah, that's him. There he is. A lemon splodge.
Sorry.
I think that's probably the yellow-fronted canary, everyone. The birds here, there are lots of different birds, and I was just been looking underneath the feet of those wildebeests there. There, Graham, Can you see the lapwing there? Yes, there's a lapwing, everybody. I don't know what lapwing that is. I'm going to find out for you right now. Well, I'll ask Peter to maybe find out. He's staring down that way. See if we can find out what lapwing that is for you while we wait for these birds to move. Not birds. What are they called again, Graham?
Birds.
Wildebeest, that's what it is. That's right, yeah. Lapwing. Right, here we go. Aaron, you want to know if we get brown hyena here? I don't actually know the answer to that. I think you probably do. You certainly get something called an aardvark, which is not an aardvark, an aardwolf, which is a small hyena, and you also potentially, but unlikely, to see something called a striped hyena, which is a very small hyena. Now that lapwing, everybody, as far as I can make it out, is called a spur-winged lapwing. That's quite special. First one I've ever seen. I'm getting yips from the back here. Peter Braat, budding ornithologist, in fact more than budding ornithologist, agrees with me, a spur-winged lapwing. Is that it? My earphones have come apart. I'm just refixing them to themselves, and I'm back. Right. Now, what else can we see here while we wait for these indecisive beasts? Yeah, there seems to be some movement again. Erica, you want to know if they've got forest elephants here. Erica, they don't. Forest elephant, of course, a species found in the real forests. So, I mean, they're found in the forests of Central African Republic, and down into the Congo, into Gabon, where Brent has been, and that's where Brent spent quite a lot of time with them. So they're found in the Congo Basin, where there is a vast forest area. Here you can see not many trees in sight, and so it would be inappropriate habitat. Let's have one last look at these wildebeest and see if this current movement doesn't bring them down to the bank. And if it doesn't, we'll hand you back to South Africa, and we'll probably sit here for a bit longer. Let's head back to South Africa, find out what Brent's got. Sounds like he's having a fantastic game drive. And thinking. Now, just as we decided, everybody, that you should come back here so that we could leave because they'd all gone to sleep, look, they've just got up. So we'll go through the emotional turmoil of deciding whether or not they're going to cross this great river or not. You can see, perhaps up, if we go a little pan up, if I might trouble you, cameraman, thank you so much. The greying sky, seems to be some weather blowing in from the north there, which is quite interesting. Maybe it will inspire some movement. Now, we've been discussing how on earth you can predict whether these things are going to cross or not. And what you can see from that picture is that we're not the only idiots in the Mara region waiting to see if this little herd will cross. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles that side and about the same this end. So, we don't think we're in the wrong place. Peter Braat tried to come up with some statistical analysis for when and how you could predict whether a wildebeest would come across the river. Look, not a bad model, but I suppose given that we've only been here for 24 hours, it could do with some refining. But here we go. I've said that before at least 4 or 5 times. Look at that, Graham. We seem to have 13% battery left. So it should probably die as they go across the... Hello, someone called Love3 Dogs. Hello, Love3 Dogs. Well, welcome to Kenya. And you say you're not used to seeing so many safari vehicles. Yes, nor are we, I must confess. But that's just how the character of this place, and, you know, it can be, I suppose, a little intrusive at times, but everyone's generally fairly well behaved. And the thing is, it's so open that you can kind of be in an area like this without affecting the animals at all, and perhaps not affecting the guest experience either. The other thing, also Love 3 Dogs, is that off-road driving is extremely limited in this area, which means that although there are 8 vehicles that side and 8 this side, no one's driving off the road. So no one's messing around, and so it's actually not a bad thing at all. It's a hammerkop, I think. We've got a hammerkop there. Well done, Graham. That's the bird. Yes, that would be good. And it would look less like a vulture. There we are. Wonderful. Hammerkop. You've all seen a hammerkop there at Djuma. Same bird here. Well, not the exact same bird, but the same species. They're not known to come on little jaunts like we are. And here, this indecisive bunch of gnu's showing why they are known as rather gormless. Ooh! Here we go. James Richard, you want to know about endemic birds to the Mara. Are there any? Yes, I've no doubt there are some. I'm afraid to tell you that I have simply not been here long enough for me to be able to give you a list of the endemics. But yes, I'm sure there are 1 or 2 endemic birds here. I mean, some of the new ones we've seen, but we've seen the first lifer we had was at the Nairobi airport. And that was the superb starling, a stunning bird of sort of russet red, white, and then those amazing iridescent blues, greens and blacks that you're used to on our glossy starlings back there in South Africa. We've seen the other thing we saw today a while on Facebook. Ooh, this is starting to look very good, everyone. The other thing we saw was something called a purple grenadier. Purple grenadier looks a little bit like a violet-eared waxbill. I don't know if you've ever seen a violet-eared waxbill before, but it's a little finch-like bird with astoundingly beautiful purple colours. Now, Cat in Tampa, you say, have we seen cheetah? We haven't, but we expected to, you know. We expected to see cheetah, and I think we will. They're certainly around here. They're not uncommon at all. They like to eat Thompson's gazelle very much. We did see a serval, like I said, and I maybe forgot to tell you, we saw lions yesterday, one of which, I said, look over there, everyone, it's a leopard. And it wasn't. It was a lion, lying in a tree. Come on. Come on, you feckless beasts, get in the water. Oh, great upheaval. Brenda, you say you love watching them jump into the water. Brenda, it would give me no more pleasure in nothing would give me more pleasure right now than to see these things doing precisely that, taking the plunge, leaping off the precipice, trusting to nothing but their herd instinct to get them across the river, and hoping that if someone gets nailed by a crocodile, it ain't me in front. Come on. There, look. Look, he's peering over the edge. Hello, Tim. You want to know if we see any alligators waiting? Tim, no alligators in this part of the world. They're only found in the New World, but we do find the Nile crocodile. That's what you find. That's what you're looking at over there. Well, eventually we'll be looking at over there. It's a little bit difficult filming in here because we're actually under a compulsory roof. But we don't know if there are any waiting for this particular herd. There could be any number lurking in the depths here. But they look like that they might want to cross in an area where there are quite a few rapids, which means I don't think there'll be anything quite the size of that 10-foot behemoth over there. But there certainly was another one the same size, pretty much opposite where these guys are on the bank. And were they to leap into the water, it's quite possible that he would get into the water with them and sort of swim at them from the other side. Jennifer, you say you're so nervous you can't even watch these wildebeest crossing on the TV anymore because of the crocs. Well, Jennifer, yeah, I feel a little bit nervous myself. My gut's telling me they're not going to do it, to be honest, but let's see. I hope I'm wrong, because it would be such an amazing thing to witness, especially plunging off a bank that deep. thank you all for your screenshots. And see to Graham what lovely photography he's taking. Well, he's not bad, is he? He's just gone, huh, next to me. And that was a hippopotamus you heard in the background. We've got 11% battery left, Graham. We do have other batteries, everyone. But
we're not going to use them.
We're not going to use them because these things are going to go now. Here we go. Come on. Come on now. Be brave. There are lots of you. Sacrifice one or two to the crocs. It's just fantastic to witness. And the wind is blowing. It's starting to feel quite eerie. Right, if the battery drops too much more, everyone, and they don't cross, we'll probably quickly link away and then change the battery. But for now, let's just keep watching. It is really suspense-filled. David, you want to know if some have already crossed? Oh, you got it. I'm just talking to Graham, everyone, sorry. Just finding another battery in this car. David, you want to know if some have crossed? The answer is no, not here. Over time they have, certainly, but not today. This is the second time we've been past here. This is from where we did our first broadcast on Facebook this morning. And they were doing pretty much exactly what they're doing now. And then we went to another spot and a whole lot crossed. I mean, we probably watched a couple of thousand crossing the river. So that was incredible. These guys have given up again. So I think what we should do now, everybody, is we're going to do... Hang on one sec. Oh, one's running. Here we go. No. He's basically saying to his mates, are you mad? Get away from the edge. There's nothing wrong with the grass this side. Alright, we're going to change the battery now, everybody, so we'll hand you back over to South Africa. And Steph, I don't know what he's doing or what he's looking at, but whatever he has to say to you will be unquestionably interesting. See you shortly. We're live. Here we go, everybody. They're coming. They're going in. There's some hippo opposite them. We're just trying to organise the camera a little bit. You want to reverse slightly?
Yeah,
Can we just reverse slightly like that? We're just helping Robert, who's driving us today. Just slightly. Other way? Other way? Robert, other way. No.
Robert.
Backwards and to the right. No. Right hand down. There we go. Sorry, everybody. Here we go. There we go. That's fine. Perfect.
Up.
Okay. My Swahili not quite as good as my Shangaan, everyone. Tanya, you say it's about time. Yes, it is about time, isn't it? But the new battery says 98%, and that is the chances of crossing, according to Graham and Peter and their statistical model. And well, here we go. They could all decide just to turn straight back up the bank there. Oh dear. Can you believe it? Well, that was certainly closer than they've got before. Yes. Hello, Hayley. You're wondering if they can break their legs when they cross. It can happen. Not normally at a bank like this. This is not a particularly steep bank. Here comes another lot trying to, well, thinking about coming down. Hayley, we were further south on the river during much of the afternoon. Here we go. And there are very steep banks, and they can break their legs when they do that. They can break various parts of their bodies. But their legs, obviously, the ones that go the most. But these banks are not that steep. It's probably about a 6-foot drop. No, not even that. Probably about a 5-foot vertical drop in some places here. Otherwise, it's just very steep. You'll just see a guinea fowl there, bottom right, bottom left of screen. They've managed to do it.
They're going to cross.
I think here come the guinea fowl, everybody. The guinea fowl are crossing, and they've inspired the wildebeest. Look at that. Sparky, I think you want to know what makes the wildebeest cross the river. Sparky, at this stage, apparently nothing. But, oh, here we go. Sparky, what it is, here we go, we've got a mass movement now. Sparky, it's a democracy. Eventually, the urge to cross becomes overwhelming in enough of them, and they will plunge into the water. They might just want to drink, they wasn't necessarily going to come across. Oh, this is very exciting. And look at the light. The light's beautiful. It's just popping out now. Michelle, you want to know if they would want to avoid hippos? Yes, they could. Might. They wouldn't want to walk straight into them. But hippos are unlikely to harm them. It does happen from time to time, but it's not likely to be a major deterrent. That thing is so close to jumping into the water. And I'm going to have to try not to scream and whoop for joy when it does happen, because there are people all around us, all enjoying this unbelievable scene. But I might whoop for joy anyway. May I whoop? Permission to whoop, Captain.
You may whoop at will.
I will whoop at will.
Clear to whoop.
Anne, sorry, I missed your question. I was talking nonsense. You want to know if this is males and females crossing? Absolutely. This is a herd of males and females. It's a breeding herd. Males, females, youngsters. There are a few yearlings here. There are a few that will be in their first migration. This will be their first time up here in the Mara. You were asking about the hippo. As they move off to the left here, there is a hippo kind of turning to face them. I don't think you'll sort of mean them any harm. And you know that a hippo becomes tremendously threatened. Oh, some of them chickening out. You can just hear them going bow, 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 bow in the background. And look at the light. Isn't it beautiful? And AJ, you say that you had no idea that they agonize so much before taking the jump. AJ, I've got to tell you, I didn't realize they agonized quite so much either. And I think what we were discussing here is that this is not a very big herd, and that perhaps a much larger herd would have had sufficient kind of quorum, if you like, to inspire them to come across already. But perhaps the pressure is just not quite sufficient in this little herd, and so they're sort of thinking about it and then deciding, no, don't fancy a swim. But there are a lot of people sitting all around us on tenterhooks, waiting. Fascinating stuff, this it really is. Absolutely incredible to see for the first time. Here we go again, everyone. To know how far across the river is. You say it looks just like a sort of run. It's quite far, you know. It's probably about, I'd say 200 meters or so. Maybe not quite, 150 meters across. So that's about 500 feet. So, I mean, in places it's probably 200 meters. And it's just over 600 feet. this is what everyone comes here to see. This time of year they come here to see these herds brave the waters. Slightly macabre, I suppose, given that I guess everyone's wondering whether they won't be set upon by those great behemoth reptiles, those ancient creatures of the waters of Africa, that have rendered so many of our watercourses almost completely unusable, because they lurk in the depths, and they of course are one of the very few animals that see humans as fair game. They're very happy to try and eat us. Not wildebeest, I mean. Crocodiles. Wildebeest don't eat people much, do they, Graham?
Not often. No.
Not often, no.
Well, I'm not an expert.
No. Well,
What we mean, no.
I don't think any of us are experts right now. We predicted much wildebeest crossing. Here we go. Back down to the water. Come on, fellows. And everyone, I know you're rooting for the wildebeest, so are we. I'm assuming you are rooting for them to cross, as opposed to not cross. Oh, thank you, Lucia. You know my reputation as the laxative of the bushveld, and you say you're waiting for one of them to poop in front of me. Lucia, thank you. I hadn't thought about that. I'd forgotten about my reputation, and you have now reminded me. So I feel sad. And look, see, the wildebeest are offended by you, Lucia. They've decided they don't want to cross now. Now, you see where they're going there? That small group, I think that's where they're going to go. That's the most likely crossing point there, which is in the wrong place for us. Move. Let's go. Shall we move slowly? Let's go. Now, Zoe, we're going to try and move, so many of you are going to get seasick, so you might have to close your eyes and just listen to me talk. Zoe, you want to know if we have a herd the size of Djuma. Zoe, there isn't a herd this size in South Africa. They're probably about only 200 or so wildebeest in the entire Sabi sands, and you'll just get an idea of the view that we're looking at there. There's vast plains, zebra all over the place, seasickness coming, and we're just going to see if we can't see them. They look like they're going to come, everybody, but I've said that now 58 times. Now there's a shot there. Okay, here we go. I will keep an eye on them while we move, everyone, and if the camera suddenly whips to the side, then you will know that they are crossing. I'm just going to ask the final control to tell me if this gets very uncomfortable to watch. I don't mean from an animal point of view, I mean from a jumping screen point of view. Then you can let us know. But it also gives you an idea of the landscape that we're looking at, which is amazing. It's just so beautiful, and I'm sure there's quite a lot of wind. We will try and kill the ambient mic. I think it's the ambient mic. I'll just pull it out. No, it won't. I'll turn it down. Hang on. We're almost there, everybody.
Hold on.
Hold on, everyone. Oh, God. I think I just broke a rib. Never mind the wildebeest injuries, everyone. Here we are. And this is very good, of course, this experiment we're doing, because we need to know if we can actually move and film at the same time. Oh. If I say a bad word, I apologize profusely in advance. I'm having my left side of my rib cage crushed. Wallington on my right slamming into me. He's slamming into the Wingnut, thank you for your question. You say, do they need to cross before it gets dark? Well, yes, ideally they do.
Straight, man. Straight.
But, Wingnut, I don't think that's necessarily going to... I don't think that's necessarily going to inspire them either. They've now turned around again, believe it or not. Now, this is not going to be ideal, everybody, but there are lots of cars here at the moment. Leopard claw. I think you want to know when the gazelles cross. Pretty much the same. I don't think they cross as frequently as the wildebeest, but they do it every so often. You know, from time to time. I don't think they do it nearly as frequently as the wildebeest do, because they don't, of course. In fact, there are two of them, Graham. I don't know if you can see them there. They're having a fight up at the top.
Where?
Just over the top of where the bank touches. There, those two there. You zoom in there. Yep, up a bit. Look at that, everybody. Two Thompson's gazelles having a fight. Look. That is magnificent. Look at that. And their horns are rapier long. And here we have some wildebeest at the water again. Now the zebras are getting in on the act. There are zebras this side watching them. And now they are rock climbing. Now I can only think that that's because there's a big crocodile this side. Because that kind of mountain goat-like behavior is ridiculous. Yeah. Now you know what? I'm scanning the water with my binoculars, everyone, to see if I can't see the telltale eyes or scales of a crocodile sticking up. I can't, but I do know that there is a massive crocodile behind the headland that we can't see behind here on this side of the river. And although this river bends, or pretty much traverses a line that is from northwest to southeast, it bends all over the place. It snakes everywhere. So this particular bend means that they are heading south. And Jules, you wanted to know which direction they were heading. It is that they are heading south. This particular piece of the river flows east-west. Let's just scan again the water's edge and see if there isn't perhaps a crocodile lurking. I don't know if you can hear them, everyone. They're going, oh, oh, oh. It's a wonderful sound. But one begs the question as to why they should be desperate to get across the river. I don't really understand. Laura, no, don't worry. You say, will they die if they don't cross? No, Laura, they won't die. There's plenty of grass that side. But there's obviously some reason, some driver, very powerful driver, bringing them across. There's one in the water now. There's the brave one. That's the one. Here he goes. Now let's watch. Now, what's happening, everybody? You'll hear all around me, people are starting to almost start cheering. They will be pushed slightly down this way, everyone.
Robert, stop. Robert.
Look, there's a croc! There's a croc! There's a croc! It's a huge croc! Look at him! He's massive! He's turning towards them and they can do nothing! Oh my goodness. Look at this. They're trying to get away from him. Oh! I cannot believe this. There's a little one. There's a little one. So it's not that easy for the croc. He's grabbed one. That is a massive crocodile, everybody. He's got to be at least 10 feet long. He's grabbed one by the tail, by the leg now. He's grabbed it. He's got it by the tail. Oh no, it's gone behind the headland now. Half of the herd is coming out. We cannot move, everyone. I'm sorry about this.
Go forward, Robert. Get in there.
We'll try and get him forward now. Oh, this is unbelievable. Can you believe it? Everyone, we don't know. We don't know what's happened now. We can't see. No one can get behind this headland. And we'll just see if we don't see one perhaps missing a tail. You can hear it bellowing. And here comes the zebra. We haven't seen zebra cross before. This is unbelievable. Oh, look, the croc's still there. He's still going. The wildebeest are just leaping here. He's obviously still in those shallows there, just behind this headland. There he comes, here he comes. Here he goes, straight for one there. Oh, jeepers. This is unbelievable. There, he's got one. No, it's got away. That crocodile is the biggest crocodile I've ever seen, everyone. And there are many of them here. Now he's lying in the shallows. And they're being pushed by the current straight towards him. The last stragglers in there. They're not the last stragglers. They're middle size of the herd. Here he's biding his time for another lunge. Yeah, Blobbit McBlob. Lovely to hear from you. You say your heart has popped out of your chest. Mine too. Ooh, here we go. Oh! This is too unbelievable. Now, two of them have given up. That one that was being chased has been bitten. He's given up. He's going back the other side. One of them has taken fright. And I'm just going to look and see while you're watching the crocodile. Not injured, hey? No injuries. No, he's scrambling up under there. That's him there, everyone. Now there's a young one trying to make it across just below the headland here, and the crocodile is after him, but we can't see it. Zebras have thought no ways. Gee whiz, people, I really didn't expect to see this on our very first day here. Crocodiles trying to catch wildebeest on a Maasai Mara crossing. Now they've just crossed onto the Mara Triangle. You can hear a couple of the zebra alarm calling. That was just unbelievable. My goodness. And Aunt Sissy, you say, can you believe that what we're doing here is being broadcast live? Aunt Sissy, I can't believe I'm seeing this, let alone broadcasting it to you live. And what an unbelievable thing that you are seeing this all over the world. You've just watched one of the most iconic African wildlife spectacles that there is. Crocodiles in the Mara River grabbing at the migrating wildebeest. And somehow he conspired to miss. You can see how they cannot have any dent on this wildebeest population. There are so many of them. Yeah, and James Richard, I have to say, I agree with you. I mean, I'm seeing this for the first time like you are. You say the croc success rate is a lot lower than you imagined. Yeah, I would agree. Much lower. I mean, he probably had a lunge at, what, 50 of them? And there he is. You see, we didn't see him. I don't know if he was the same one that was on the banks here. He could well have been. There could have been others lying underneath. And apparently the croc is just below the bank here. He's just there. There he is. There's the croc. There is the nasty reptile. Dina, you say you can't believe you're watching this all the way in California. Well, I can't believe I'm standing here watching it. And you can hear all the vehicles starting up probably now. They're off to go and have a drink. They're all going to be staring at the photographs they've taken. Yeah, I think we'll try and move back over there. All right. What an amazing way to put it, exactly. 4,000 kilometers Steph has sent you onto the back of this vehicle. We're going to have a quick look here at the sunset going down over the quintessential African scene. The odd tree on the horizon silhouetted gorgeously. There's some weather coming in that has turned this incredible sunset. 1,000 shades of pink and ginger and orange and yellow and various other colors that are probably not describable by someone with my humble vocabulary. Now, over there, I know we've all been missing. Come on, Wallington, bring your camera here. I know you've all been missing the hyena den deeply at Djuma. Well, we'll have a look at this one here. And it's a bit of a joy, really, to find a little hyena den. Look, there's a little one with its head out of a tiny little hole. Now it's blurry, but soon it will be in focus. There we are. And Graham, just to the right of that one, it looks like a gopher has just put its head out of the ground. It's now put its head back in. Whoops. There's a little one there. Look. And apparently these hyenas are heavily researched. It's eating something. Now, one of the things I was saying very early today is that the animals here die faster than they can be killed, if you know what I mean. So more animals here probably die of natural causes than they do from predation, which means that for scavengers, especially vultures, there are vultures all over this place during the day, landing on bits and pieces, carcasses and those sorts of things that we don't see. We don't see them dying, you know, and they're killed. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Sorry about that, everybody. Was it off?
Yes, it was, but we're back on.
Oh dear, Graham said it was off. Sorry about that, everyone. I think I sat on my microphone. So, there are vultures and scavengers eating here all day long. And they're not stealing their kills from anyone. These are things that have just died of natural causes. And I think that these hyenas have an almost limitless food supply. This is just too wonderful, isn't it? There's Mum. And there's a hyena researcher. And I think he does an incredible amount of work, because I think, as Graham said, Graham's watched a talk by, I think, that very fellow in that car there. Some of these hyena dens have been occupied for probably 1,000 years. 1,000-year-old hyena den, which is quite astounding. And so obviously this is optimal hyena territory and hyena habitat. But this den site here apparently has been continuously occupied for probably almost that long, which is absolutely unbelievable. This will be a small portion of the clan. The clans in this area can reach really very large numbers indeed, and up to sort of 50 or 60 individuals can mass if they want to chase lions or if they want to try and take something or hunt on their own. They do a lot of hunting in this area. It's not only the scavenging that they do. And I mean, we're just going to pan around now. There's a Thompson's gazelle not too far away. There we go, you've got him there. Hello, Clarissa. You missed the beginning of the show, and you say, where is James? James is in Kenya, believe it or not, and therefore so are you, Clarissa. And we're just trying to find a Thompson's gazelle that I can see, but the camera is failing to find. Clarissa, we're in Kenya. We're broadcasting out of the Mara Triangle, this quite unbelievable piece of land, 510 square kilometers, 350 square miles, part of the greater Mara Serengeti ecosystem of 20,000 square kilometers, which is roughly 1,200 at least 12,000 square miles, and that's where we are. And through the incredible efforts of Peter Braat and the amazing negotiation skills of Graham Wallington, and of course, the not too shabby camera work of the latter, here we are in the middle of the Mara Triangle, bringing you some of the most quintessential shots of African wildlife that you'll ever see. We've seen some new things, Clarissa, today. We've seen hundreds of wildebeest, thousands and thousands of wildebeest. We've seen crocodile try to eat wildebeest out of the Mara River. Those amazing sightings of wildebeest crossing the river that we've seen on documentaries and I've never seen live before. We've seen topi and Thompson's gazelles and lions sitting in trees. We've had an unbelievable time here. And Kat in Tampa, you say that you were born on the wrong continent. Well, Kat, I'm sorry about that. But you know, these days with air flight, you could always move here. And there's rain there, Graham, I think. We're just going to... There's rain there, everybody. Look at that. There's some wildebeest underneath that tree. And in the background, there is rain falling from the sky. Cue Toto soundtrack. Sorry, I missed the last one, Kirsten. What was the last comment we had there? And Vicky, yes, you say it's so different seeing hyenas out in the wide open space as opposed to in our termite mounds. Well, all the animals here, compared with Djuma, of course, they live in the open. This is very much a grassland area, and we know that the woodlands of the Sabi sand house, a huge diversity of animals, but we don't see them in the same way that we do here. And so this is just a great, different kind of African adventure that we're having here. It is in some ways a little more difficult because we can't go off-road, but for maybe very special sightings, and we're still trying to negotiate our way through that. And so it can be a little bit more difficult, but because you can see so very far, yes, it really is unbelievable. And the sheer volume of animal life here blows my mind completely. And in case, for those of you who have just joined us, like Clarissa, 1.5 million wildebeest come into this area every year. 300 to 500,000 Birchall's zebra, 200,000 Thompson's gazelles, and there are probably any number of others. And those are just wild estimates. Nobody's ever counted them actually. And there's some wildebeest now, just wandering across the plains. They've obviously been separated from the much larger herds, which cover this place like ants. Aaron, you're wondering if we're going to be live again tomorrow. Yes, we probably will once or twice. We're not sure when or how or if. We're trying quite desperately to sort out various things here because we've got a very short time. So yes, we hope to do some live stuff tomorrow, absolutely. But we're not going to guarantee anything. You might just be able to hear the wildebeest here going bow, bow. Robin, we're going to be here only until Wednesday. We actually leave here on Tuesday, and then I'll be back at Djuma on Wednesday. And, it's a precursor, we hope, for a longer show, and we're hopefully going to be here for a week in September sometime. At the end of September, we hope. And this great swathe of animal life that has migrated into this area will hopefully still be around. And I think it will just be unbelievable to be here for that length of time. And so hopefully we'll have more of the wildebeest leaping into the water. We'll have more of them streaming across the plains. We'll have more of these hyenas. We're hopefully going to introduce you to the lions of this area, hopefully the cheetah and the serval. Perhaps we've had an amazing time with some serval. And the topi, and the Thompson's gazelles, and the Grant's gazelles, and all the other amazing things. And the birds, totally different birds from the ones that we get at home. I think we're probably going to have to hand you over back to South Africa now. Things are getting a bit dark now, so this will be our last segment this evening. Thank you for joining us. It's been unbelievable. Brilliant skill from Mr. Wallington. Thank you, Mr. Wallington. Brilliant skill from Peter Braat, our two chaps in front here. We've got Robert and Kelvin. Robert and Kelvin, wave at the camera. You're on your live television. There they are. And done a sterling job getting us into the most incredible position to view, of course, that quintessential shot of the wildebeest migration crossing the Great Mara River. We'll see you tomorrow, we hope. Until then, enjoy the rest of your drive with Brent and Steph, and I will be marvelling at these unbelievable sights. Bye-bye.